Good morning, friends, and welcome to day 14 of my 92-day challenge to take the rest of this year and truly reset and rebuild my life from crazy, chaotic, too much clutter, too much stuff, too many things, like not feeling like I'm on the right track, to stripping it all away and seeing if by the end of the year it is possible at nearly 40 to get rid of everything and start your life over. I don't know, but we're going to find that out. So welcome. We've got a lot ahead of us today, but I think you're going to enjoy it. And I hope that my being able to be vulnerable and transparent and quite literally air my dirty laundry to the great wide world of the internet can be something that can actually truly help you, right? If you could call up your BFF right now and be like, all right, just lay it all out there. What's going on? What do we do? What's the real nitty gritty of the mess you're dealing with? And like, how can we actually overcome this? That's what I want to share with you all here today. But before we can do that, you know it, we got to see my morning routine. And voila, now I am here drinking a delicious cup of protein coffee. If you want to know how I make my protein coffee, I've been making it like this for the past couple of years. I will link a video down below. I'm telling y'all, inexpensive, so much healthier for you, and you feel great, and it tastes delicious. So come on, protein coffee. And adding these little granule sugar things as a little sprinkle on top, it is such a nice, sweet little treat that genuinely is just a little tiny bit. So anyways, very good. This morning is actually quite busy. I have a live stream that I do for my members. I've got to go get ready for that and get on there and spend some time with them, which I love. It's so wonderful. I love that time of just having that live stream. We have that community over there, getting to know the other women, getting to do life together. Yes, please. I know I need more of that in my life, and that's why we have the HMH Collective, right? That's why we do that. So I've got some time there with them this morning. I've got some work stuff I need to look at. I need to make a slight adjustment to how I'm doing these videos because the editing time is killing me. Normally I can have videos edited and done in under an hour. I am very quick. I am very efficient. I film things a certain way so that I can be. Doing these, I knew would take more time. When I get done in a day, I easily have, 80 to 150 video clips that have to be worked with. And it is taking me easily like 4 hours trying to get through these things. So I am going to have to make a couple adjustments on my end of it just so we can keep on keeping on. I don't want to get frustrated and give up. I want to keep on keeping on. I checked off, you guys can see it back there hanging on the wall, but our fun little Everblog smart calendar that we are trying out. I spent most of yesterday setting it up. It is so cool. Has a couple quirks, a couple things. I'm going to email them and be like, okay, did you guys notice this or notice that? It is really, really cool. My kids last night were stoked. We actually ended up spending all day yesterday after we finished our homeschool and did our things we needed to do. They wanted us, they're like, okay, you know how you've been saying that we need to reset our chores and what we're doing and like daily things? I was like, yeah, that's been something on my list. I just hadn't gotten to it yet. I know we need to do this. And they're like, well, can't we just set it up and put it here on the screen? So we've set up all of their stuff already. We did the whole reward system. They picked out what the rewards are going to be, and they're kind of fantastic. They picked out hilarious rewards. I was like, what are the things that you would like to earn that normally are the things I tell you no? And they were like, can a box of Pop-Tarts be our reward? I don't let my kids eat Pop-Tarts. They don't eat cereal. Like, we don't eat stuff like that. And I was like, fine. Getting a Pop-Tart can be your reward for chores well done. And so they were so excited. So they put all of those together. We got all the chores laid out. They checked them like all off yesterday. They kept getting them done and running over to the board. I know the newness will wear off at some point, but I was even like, you know what? I think I'm going to add my stuff on there, right? What are my habits that I want to be doing and things that I want to be focusing on? Speaking of, guess what day it is? We need to go check and see what new habit you guys have voted in for me. So maybe let's go do that, and then I'll get started on my things, and then we'll come back to this and talk about what we're going to do today. All right, let's see. What did you all choose? Post. This is how you guys find it. You just come over and you click on this little post tab. Each week I will put a new one up to be voted on. Yep, getting ready to go live. Membership stuff. Oh, wow. So it wasn't even semi-close. Look at that. 18% did restart my carnivore diet. I really want to do that one. That didn't make it. 14%, 20 minutes of Pilates daily. Yeah, ain't nobody was too concerned about that. I want to do that. Don't worry, these ones you guys aren't voting on yet. Eventually, you're going to have to, because they're going to keep getting added on there. Overwhelmingly, 68%. Do you see this? 68 of you said Intentional Weekly Sabbath. That is so the winner. Look at that. Not even close. I know some of you are voting on this because you're voting for what you think I need. Some of you are voting on these for what you know you need in your life and in your home. Either way is fine, okay? It's supposed to be fun. I knew in stripping everything out of my life, I would need to rebuild it at some point, right? I can strip everything out, but you also have to put the right things back in. And I know sometimes I see that, as parents, we do that where we want to get rid of all the bad things we don't want our kids, being influenced by, but then we're not replacing it with anything good. And then they're just kind of left with this like, okay, I want to be stripping all of this stuff out, the clutter, the excess, the chaos, the just overwhelm. But I have to be intentional then to build my life back up with the things that I want it to have. All of these habits that you guys are going to vote on each week are things that I really prayerfully sat down and kind of made a list before the series started of what are the things that I wish I was doing. I wish were like the core of my day. Once I strip away all the things that have been overwhelming me and stressing me out and just making me at life. And you guys are doing amazing with this. So thank you. Intentional Weekly Sabbath is something that I need. And I think it's something we all need. I know that Christians have a lot of misunderstanding and concern with the Sabbath and what to do with the Sabbath, what the Sabbath means, how we see that in Jesus. Like, I know that can be something that is really, really confusing. So if you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below. I do have the fishbowl right there. And every Saturday I will be drawing one of your topics out of it and we'll be discussing it. Just let's go to scripture and look at it and work through this and see what it says and how do we go through this. And so that could be one that we put in there. I think the Sabbath is a great one to look at, but I think having one day where my normal work is completely stripped out, completely set down. That's one of the hardest areas I've found with ever since I've been working from home or self-employed for almost 20 years now. It's crazy when you think about it. So I've been doing this for a long time, and it really was that, wow, I need to look at how I do this, because when all your work is always at home with you, it is hard to shut it off. It is hard to get away from it. When you're self-employed, it's really hard to take a vacation, right? Because you don't just have paid time off that you've accrued. You have, if I'm not working, I'm not making money. And so it can be a little scary. I think for us, the plan is going to be Mondays just work well for our family. We spent a large chunk of our adult lives working in the race industry. And so obviously Thursday through Sunday are essentially your work, like your busy work weeks. And Monday is, my dad calls it, my dad is a racer as well. He's been a professional motorcycle racer my whole life, and he calls it the checker Sabbath. Monday is called the checker Sabbath because the races are usually all over the weekend, and then Monday is that just everybody's exhausted, right? It's just that everything's down, day of rest. And so we spent a large chunk of our adult lives in the race industry, followed by then spending the next phase of our lives in the wedding industry, which again is like that Thursday through Sunday, you're working like crazy, and come Monday, that was our like shut off day. And then being in ministry, obviously everything leading up, church over the weekend, everything that we were doing, Monday continued to be our like day off, our day of rest, our Sabbath rest each week. I think for us, we're going to get back to that. I think Monday is going to be that day for us. We already try to like ease into our week, but I think having an intentional set day off would be really, really important. And I just want to say for those of you out there, yes, the biblical Sabbath, like the Sabbath of the Old Testament, the biblical day that Jews today still observe, is sundown Friday through Saturday. That is the biblical Sabbath. I do understand that. Going to church on Sunday does not mean that you're trying to replace the Sabbath. Sunday is not the Sabbath. Sunday was referred to by the apostles as the Lord's Day because it was the day that the Lord rose, right? The day that Jesus, Messiah, rose because he was the first fruits offering. And first fruits always happens on the first Sunday after Passover. And so Sunday is the Lord's Day. And we see Sunday as what most Christians kind of take as a Sabbath day of rest. It's on Sunday because when the apostles when the disciples and the apostles, they were going around and they were preaching Jesus, they were being kicked out of all the synagogues because the Jews were like, get out of here. I'm so sick of hearing about this guy. You guys aren't welcome anymore. You can't keep showing up in here during our gathering on Saturday and doing all of this. So they kicked them out. And so the early church, the first century church, started gathering on Sunday, which is the Lord's Day, because that was the day that the Lord rose from the dead. And you see them talk about that. Even John, when he receives revelation from Jesus himself, he was worshiping on the Lord's Day, on Sunday. And so I know some people get really, really weird about that, but I'm like, no, that is biblical. I mean, what Constantine did and different things, that's a whole different bag. But this is biblical to gather on Sunday. The biblical Sabbath is Saturday. I'm going to take my Sabbath rest on Monday because that is the day that will work for me and my family. And you voted in an Intentional Weekly Sabbath, and that's what you're going to get. Well, it's what I'm going to get. But it's what I'm going to get because it's what you voted for me to get, but now I'm going to show it to you, so now you're going to see it. Okay, does that make sense? All right, little rant. I just know, almost 8 years making these videos, I just know the comments that are going to pop up the moment I say something, and so we're going to nip those in the bud right here and now. We've got a big day ahead though. Let me go hop on this live, take care of the things I need to take care of. I will circle back up with y'all in just a second here, and we're going to get into today because we have a lot of work to do. So let's get into it. Trying to read and do schoolwork, and Dash Hounds found me. Are you hiding for the camera? You did very good reading your book. No. Lois, I have other stuff to do. I can't just. What? I know. Nothing more important than snuggling Lois and Boo Boo.
I'm not trying my face ever.
Alrighty, we have, let me get this set up. We have finished our school day. We ran our errands and things that we needed to do before the things we have going on tomorrow. In the middle of doing all that, I realized it's okay, it's fine. It's because I am focused on the exciting part. So the little nuances of some of these things that I like set up for myself or kind of give me up. I wasn't supposed to actually look at the new habit until tomorrow, but I looked today. Too bad, so sad. I got it a day early. That's okay. I think that'll be fine. But my apologies. I did just realize that this is Tuesday's video. No, it's not Wednesday. And so I am goofed up a day. So it's okay. I won't be doing that actual habit until Monday. So I have a hot minute. But yes, I am off a day. Anyways, that's okay. We'll get the new habit up there for you guys to check in. I just finished eating a delicious, highly protein-packed, very carnivore-friendly chicken bowl. So I just finished that. we ran our errands, we did our homeschool, we did all the things. Kids are out there working on stuff. My daughter's baking up a bunch of cookies for someone as a gift, so she's got that going on, and we are going to tackle the next space. Now, I want to talk about this because I have a feeling yet again that this space is going to reveal to me very big heart issue type things that I have put off. For those of you who've been around the channel for a while, you know I have shown you my laundry room clean out so many times over the years, because until we had the office space here today, the whole time we've lived in this house, that is our only room to store things. We have an older home. We don't really have many closets. We don't have many storage spaces. So I try to keep things very minimal so that way we don't need to store a lot, but it never fails that stuff ends up getting stacked up, and the only place for it to go is there in the laundry room. My one daughter also uses that. The three girls share a bedroom, and it works out pretty good, but as they've gotten older, one girl has kind of been like, I kind of want my own space. And so we use the laundry room. It's kind of a funky, weird, again, we have an old, weird house. It's just what it is. We use that as like a space for them to do their co-op when we had the online co-op. And then she was like, can I just make this like my room and my space? So she has a bunch of her stuff in there. It is a space that I have tried to use as like a prepared pantry space of keeping things that we need to have on hand and have easily accessible. And it honestly just never works that way. As much as I've tried, I reset the space. I cannot tell you how many times, and it never ever lasts. It is a teeny tiny room. It is not that big. It has very, very little space, yet somehow becomes this like monstrosity of a mess every time. And again, I think it just goes to that we can go and start bringing stuff in to be more prepared and have things on hand and start becoming a little more self-sustainable and not relying on the system so much and all of those great, wonderful things, which I think are really, really important, especially in the crazy world that we live in. But if we are not storing it and using it appropriately, the best of intentions just become mess and overwhelm and waste. And so I think part of that like stewardship and wisdom is, yes, bringing in those extra things, but also storing them and using them appropriately, which I have attempted the storing them thing okay, and I've done well at the using them portion like maybe 2% of the time. So I've done awful with that, and that's an area I need to work on so that I can be a wise steward and steward the resources that I've been able to bring in appropriately, and what I got going on in there is not appropriately. So I'm gonna get in there today. I am not gonna be able to finish everything. I just got too much going on. It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I want to be done for the day, and I'm nowhere near done. So I want to at least get everything hopefully stripped out today so that we can really start getting the stuff that shouldn't be in there not in there anymore, and really start looking at, you know, what needs to stay to make this my laundry room. I like having like we have a little cart of like go-to cleaning supplies. I would like that to be there. And then my daughter to have her space with her desk where she does like independent schoolwork, or if she's just wants somewhere quiet to go sit and read or work on some of her arts and crafts and different school things that she does, she could have a space for that. Other than that, nothing else should be in there if it's not something that we are literally regularly using. And the stuff that is part of the prepared pantry needs to actually go down to the prepared pantry that I started earlier this year, and I want to continue building up and keeping tabs on and not having stuff kind of strewn about in multiple different locations. So I am sorry, hopefully that didn't make a bunch of noise. I am feeling refreshed because I had my chicken bowl. I've got a sparkling water. I should probably pop a couple creatine bites over here, and let's just get into it. You all, this is all so embarrassing. Like, I'm all for being vulnerable and transparent and putting yourself out there, and I've done that so many times over the years, but the past year specifically, things have gotten so bad, and especially after the hurricane, everything going on, we've actually had the least amount of visitors. Normally we have like visitors regularly throughout the year, so it's kind of that like, let me, you know, before everybody gets here, maybe let me deal with some of this stuff. I haven't had to do that. And every time I turn on the camera and walk into one of these rooms, I'm just like, oh, I cannot believe this is what's going out there today. But can I just say that as embarrassing and like humbling as it is to put this out there, your guys' comments genuinely have just, they've mattered so much. And at the end of the day, when I'm like exhausted and trying to get it done and just really kind of like internally beating myself up for the fact that it even got this bad to begin with, your guys' comments have genuinely meant so much. So like, can I just like virtually hug you from over here? Thank you. Thank you for that. And I want to encourage you, if you're tackling anything like this in your home, to keep going, right? Keep at it one day at a time. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know looking at deeper issues seated in all the clutter and junk and excess and whatever we might have going on, it's embarrassing. It's difficult. Like it is. But I promise you, if you just keep on pushing through to the best of your ability as you can, it feels so good on the other side. So good. And so living room, master bathroom, office. Now let's get to the laundry room. And I'm telling you, it is a mess. It is embarrassing, but we're here. We're supportive. We're lifting one another up, but yet calling one another out in the areas that we got to do some things. It's time to call me out. Let's go to my laundry room. Also, there's horrible lighting in here, so I don't really know what to do. Okay, this place is a mess. This was kind of our like original prepared pantry where I got this wire shelf and was trying to keep things organized, especially now having doubled our household size and we have 12 people here on the property that use the main areas of the house, having extra stuff on hand, things in the kitchen that we needed to move out, the Instant Pot, blender, stuff like that kind of all made it in here. We've got my daughter's stuff kind of all shoved in here. She's got all kinds of stuff that I told her she needs to go through. I have actual like laundry stuff. I also have this amazing shelf here that I actually got from Her Nest. I love their furniture. It's one of my favorite online furniture places. Just heads up. I love this cabinet. It was like a wine cabinet, but I use it for all my laundry stuff. And it also holds all our extra homeschool stuff that isn't in use. So I've got that here, which again is like kind of organized, but like also starting to fall apart and stuff just gets shoved places. I have our cleaning cart. We have the dog's kennel. My daughter has all kinds of junk in here we need to go through. Plus she's like added some, I'm noticing some of these, like I had pretty things up in here and she's like taped posters on the wall and she's taped all kinds of stuff to the wall. And I'm kind of freaking out now because I'm like, why do we have tape on the walls? That is not okay. So I will probably be moving those things like into there. Game plan for this space is I need to strip everything out that doesn't need to be here. That's probably all I'm going to be able to get done today, is stripping everything out except for what needs to be here and at least getting it put down into the basement. The stuff that needs to go into the prepared pantry shelves down there, they're just going to get put on the shelves. Reorganizing that can be a problem for another day. Right now I need to focus on up here. That's going to get done. All her stuff's going to get pulled out probably tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Come and join me. I will deep clean the space and we're going to kind of reorganize it and turn the closet. This was an old closet that we put the physical stuff into because when they were doing class in here, I just cut these off of Temu, these like pretty little, they're shower curtains. But we just have a rod up in here and I have these cute little curtains that we just kind of could close up the space. So that way, while they were doing their stuff, it wasn't distracting. We could close it. I think what the plan is going to be is to get all of this out of here and instead put her little desk in here with her little, she's got like a little drawer unit here that she keeps her like art supplies and extra things in. So ideally all of her fun, cute stuff that is kind of now taped up all over the room and hopefully doesn't peel the paint, can go in here to be kind of cute and fun for her, that she can have a little space where she can come to if she wants to work on a project or read a book or kind of just do something quiet and away from her sisters. She has her space. The other girls have kind of their spaces. This has kind of been her space. She can have that space in there, but then also when she's done, she can just kind of close it. Her stuff is back there, put away, and hopefully the space can actually start to be not the disaster zone that it has been continuously for the 10 years that we have lived here. Who knows? today might be the day, right? This year we might finally address what we haven't been able to for the past 10 years. I don't know, maybe not, but let's try. So I need to be really serious about what actually needs to be in the space and pull out everything else. This space does have one thing that is going to hang out in here, even though it's not necessity. Don't think you'll be surprised, but let me show you. I have this amazing, like tension rod thing. I got these from a great partner actually on Amazon, but I love this with the shelves and they're really sturdy, heavy duty. And I have one that actually needs to go in the bathroom over the toilet, but they can go over a washing machine, they can go over toilets, you know, wherever you want it to be to have some extra storage. And I have these just vintage books that I have that are for a hobby project that I have been putting off and was like, you know what, I'm not going to put it off any longer. That's part of my plan, especially on my Sabbath day. So I'm going to keep those there, like I said, with books. I don't want to put them in the basement just because of the moisture. And then here in this cabinet is all of our homeschool, like extra homeschool stuff. I keep it in just this little cabinet here. And down in here is like cleaning supplies, extra laundry supplies, tablecloths, things like that needs to be tidied up. And then there's a whole mess that's happened here. So, I guess let me get into it and let's see what we can't get done when you see this room next. All right, just look at one last look. So embarrassing. Like what? It's just, and that tape, that is tape to the wall. I do not do tape on walls, so I'm like kind of freaking out about that. But, and then the floors too, just to show you guys the full gambit here. Because yes, literally when you walk in, let me show you. When you walk into this room, there's like this one little walkway that you can come over here to the washer or you can turn to the desk. But like, that's really the only place you can walk. Everything else is pretty much Hoardersville. So when I turn this camera around and you see it next time, it's not gonna look like this because now it looks like this. Like this. Look at that, my friends. So I did start some laundry on the blanket that we put in there for the dog. That's his. He only sleeps in here every once in a while, but we keep it ready for him. It's all echoey in here. The only thing left hanging on there is my hiking backpack. I got rid of the other stuff. The books, like I said, are going to stay. I'm going to clean out inside of this here in just a little bit. My mop, my Moprobo that I use all the time. Best thing, genuinely, in the world. I'm going to use it on the floors here in 2 seconds. Extension cords, oops, sorry, and weird stuff that was up here. My daughter's desk, these are their chairs that they use. They have these little like swinging, folded, collapsible chairs. So I'd ideally like for them to be able to stay up here for easy access for the kids. And then look at this, friends. Look at this. So much stuff all removed out of here. The things that were here that need to be a part of our prepared pantry, we've taken them downstairs. Okay, now we got that moved out of here too. And there's some stuff that was back there, so I gotta grab that and throw that away. But oh my word, getting all of this pulled out of here. My daughter that keeps her stuff in here, she's like, Mom, I don't think I have that much stuff. It shouldn't be too bad. She has way more stuff than we expected. And so tomorrow, we're not gonna have time to get to that today, but tomorrow she's gonna put back just the things she absolutely seriously uses. And everything else is going into a box down to the basement. We're setting a timer for 3 weeks or so, and we'll come back and we'll address it and see where we're at from there. So we're definitely gonna be doing that with her stuff because there's far more in here than she thought there was. I think that's what happens sometimes is you think, okay, well, it can't be that bad until you pull it all out. And then you're like, who did this? Like, what is going on here? So got that all pulled out. Most of the things that were on the big wire shelf here were things that need to be down in our prepared pantry. I mean, they don't need to be up here in the first place. And so you can throw it in here, sweetie.
That's not possible.
Yep, you're good. So most of the stuff is stuff that shouldn't have been up here anyways. It really needs to go down there where I think it will be better used. And I think if we're actually keeping our stuff all together in the same spot, we'll be able to do a better job at shopping our pantry before going to a store. And I think that's a big piece of it is we might have the best of intentions to be wise stewards, to be prepared, to think ahead, to be responsible, right? That Proverbs 31 woman who's not worried about the winter because she's already done the things and put together the preparations, like she knows it's going to be okay. I think we have the best of intentions sometimes to do that. But then it all kind of gets lost in the sauce. And I know sometimes when it's not somewhere that I can see it easily, I forget it exists. And then I'm cleaning through stuff and doing things and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And I pull it out and you realize, just how much you have of something because it all kind of got lost in there. And for me, that's where with our prepared pantry, we've gotten a few shelves and put them together. And I want to genuinely organize stuff like it was a store, right? Like my own store where I have things labeled, I have them in categories, I have them lined up so I can easily see what we have, which means when we run out of something, we need to get in that habit of going down to our prepared pantry, finding it there, and then we can add it to a shopping list or something like that to replenish what we've used, but that way we're actually using what we have and then just replenishing, not going and just bringing in more and more and not utilizing the things in the right place. It seems like a simple thing in theory. And when I started this earlier this year, I was like, oh yeah, this would be a piece of cake. I put it on the shelves all nice and neat. I put the stuff down there, was going through it. It's not that easy. I mean, I think it sounds easy, especially with a large family and kind of just being in the habit of doing certain things. Actually utilizing it is a little bit harder. And if anybody else has ever felt that way, like I'm right there with you, sister. So don't be beating yourself up too much because you're not alone in this. It really does take that mindset shift of shopping your pantry, anything to replenish goes to that versus just coming in up here, and really looking at this of how to be a wise steward with our resources and not just be wasteful, right? Not just bringing in excess, but truly having that stewardship and preparedness, heart and focus, and stewarding those resources well, right? Isn't that what we all want to do? I want to do everything to the glory of God. And so I need to reassess the way I'm doing some of these things because what I'm doing right now might have the greatest of intentions, but it's not intentionally what I'm living out. So therefore it's a bit of an issue. So got this done. I think I'm going to go ahead. I got to get these last couple things out of here, which is funny. These are leaves for a table that we don't even have anymore. We haven't had that table in 3 years, maybe. I had no idea those were even back there. We pulled it out and they fell over and I was like, what is that? Oh, fair enough. Now we know that's where they are. So I need to go ahead and take care of that real quick. I think I'm going to at least use my MoProbo to clean up the floors really well because honestly, I just love using that thing, but it makes it so easy. It picks up, I don't have to sweep and vacuum and mop and whatever. It picks up everything and scrubs the floors all at the same time. So I think I'm going to do that just to get everything like once over clean. And I might go ahead and just kind of like dust the shelves a little bit just to kind of like have a little bit here. I've got a little bit of time if I get at it. So I'm going to get done what I can. I'm going to try tonight to put back just the things I literally seriously use in here each and every day, which is very specific. It's the stuff for my mop and stuff for laundry and my 1 cart of cleaning supplies. That's all I actually, oh, and I keep my vacuum in here. So that's like all I actually use. Yeah, genuinely, that's it. So nothing else needs to be in here. I'm thinking I might have to put my daughter's stuff in here just because we're hosting birthday celebrations for my nieces tomorrow, and maybe baskets of junk sitting everywhere is not too conducive to that. So I might set those back in here just for her to get to, but I want to be really intentional that stuff isn't just getting set back down because I know myself and I know if I just set it back in here, I'll be like, it's fine, I'll get to it, and then game over. Not how that works. So living room is looking great. Master bathroom, phenomenal. Office, are you kidding me? It's like $1 million in there. And now I am like halfway through being able to add laundry room to that list, and it feels amazing. So thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you for being an encouragement to me. I know I shared with this, with the membership gals, that right now YouTube, my like kind of back end studio side of it, everything is yelling at me. And it's like, you are tanking your channel. I don't know what you're doing differently, but this is horrible. You shouldn't do this. Because I know, stopping kind of everything I was doing to be like, let's just come sit down like friends and literally air our dirty laundry and work through it from the mess down to the deeper spiritual side of it. That's not really a trending topic on YouTube, but I want to thank you all for being here because I believe in this, and I believe that it is going to radically transform my life if I can be honest with myself, hold myself accountable, and work through this room by room, area by area, truly stripping out all the things that shouldn't be there, that I don't want there, that is not the direction I feel God calling me to be walking in. Throw it all away and start my life over. It doesn't matter how old you are. Today is the day you got. Tomorrow's a new day with God's mercies filled in it. maybe it's time to strip the stuff back and start life over. And it may not be the most popular thing on the land of YouTube, but if it can serve you and I here today, then praise God, I'm all for it, regardless of how much my studio is like freaking out at me right now that everything is not good. But that is okay, because I know God will bless this and use this for exactly the purpose it was meant for. And if you guys want to see the whole playlist, if you've missed that, it is linked right up here. You guys can go and check that out. Be sure and you subscribe, turn on your bells, and we will be back here tomorrow, the day that I should have revealed the habit that I goofed because I can't read a calendar apparently, but that is a-okay. I'll see you all here tomorrow. Bye, friends.